Hello, people. Welcome back to The Struggle, where we dive deep into the most effective ideas, stories, theories, and strategies for overcoming life's challenges. To struggle is to make forceful efforts to break free from restriction. And together we'll figure out how you're restricted and explore how you can struggle to break free, find meaning, and grow through whatever adversity you're facing. This is episode 56. And we live in an age where everything is instant. Food, entertainment, communication. It's all available at the tap of a screen. We've designed a world that caters to our every whim, and a world where waiting is almost obsolete. And yet, despite having more convenience and comfort than any generation before us, we're more anxious, unfulfilled, and disconnected than ever. Why? Because in our pursuit of ease, we've built a society that directly contradicts what our minds and bodies were designed for. We're overstimulated but undernourished, drowning in information but starving for meaning. We chase pleasure without effort, but in doing so, we lose the ability to find real, lasting fulfillment. In today's episode, we're continuing the conversation on uncertainty and why our complete aversion to it is making us weaker, both mentally and physically. We'll explore why constant entertainment, instant gratification, and the modern obsession with comfort are leading us further away from the things that truly matter: struggle, challenge, growth, love, connection, emotion. And more importantly, we'll discuss how you can break free from the chaos of plenty and realign yourself with the natural human experience. But before we get to that, this episode is brought to you by the Struggle newsletter. This is a fortnightly newsletter that I send out every other Sunday that contains a short article concerning the art of embracing struggle, and it also includes recommendations such as new music, movies, podcasts, strategies, theories, books, anything I can think of that will help along the way. So to sign up completely for free, go to gregorthomson.com. The link will be in the show notes. Confirm your subscription and then make sure you check your spam folder for your welcome newsletter, and then add me to your contacts to continue to receive it in your inbox every other Sunday for free. And that's it. You're on your way to productively struggling more or productively struggling less, depending on what you need, and being more productive, healthy, and motivated. Now, let's get on with the struggle. Like I said, this week I'm continuing on the theme of uncertainty and our complete aversion to it. We live in an instantaneous, fast-moving culture of 5-second videos, fast food, same-day deliveries, and instant communication. And yes, I say this knowing full well that I play the game, posting daily 30-second videos, but there are a few ways to get a message across in this modern world, and there are a few ways to grow a channel in this modern world without relying on short, bite-sized clips. This is the world we live in now. It has its benefits, but it also has its downsides. One of the biggest downsides is that we've built our societies in direct opposition to what our bodies, minds, and brains have evolved to expect. Evolutionarily speaking, our bodies expect whole foods, eaten in moderation. They crave fresh air, nature, and the sights, sounds, and smells that come with nature. Our bodies want to move. Our minds expect the quiet of the natural world, with no distractions, except for the occasional threat of predators. And yet today, we spend most of our time indoors under fluorescent lighting, hunched over screens. We see the sun for but a moment before getting in our cars to drive home, where we spend the rest of our evenings sitting, staring at another screen, eating processed meals. That's an issue. We've built a world that functions in opposition to our natural state. We spend less and less time outside in nature, less and less time just sitting without distraction, because we've become conditioned to constant entertainment. Everything is designed to keep us glued to screens, drip-feeding us endless, ever-changing and novel clips. Many of us don't move enough, many of us don't eat enough real foods, and as a result, in much of the world today, we now suffer from overconsumption rather than malnutrition. And this is the same with productivity. As we now risk the benefits psychologically of the quiet and boredom because there's always something new to be done. There's always a box to be ticked. I saw a post, ironically, on Instagram that said something along the lines of, "We're bombarded by an onslaught of information, distracted at every turn without a moment to contemplate. So if you feel overwhelmed, it's not just you. You're simply acting in opposition to your natural state. If you're not outside most of the day, moving your body, seeing the sunlight, sitting in silence, rarely looking at a screen, and you feel a bit crap, is it any wonder?" And that's it. We've built a world that delivers everything we could ever want instantly. We want dopamine, and we want it now. Hungry? Order fast food. Bored? Scroll through countless 5-second videos. Need something? Anything? Order it, and it might arrive in a matter of hours. Hate what someone tweeted? You can fire back in an instant. We have everything we could ever want, and yet we're depressed, overweight, and unfulfilled. We have eliminated the benefits of lacking something to do and lacking something to say. When we have the ability to do something all the time, we become bombarded with the chaos of plenty. And when we have the ability to say whatever we want and have that seen by potentially millions of people, we lose the benefit of thought and consideration. We've built a world devoid of presence, appreciation, and gratitude because we always have something else to chase. This is what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill, the idea that we seek out new pleasures, adapt to them, and then chase the next high. Have you ever bought something? You felt excited before buying it, only to find that after you've bought it, after a day or so even, you're bored by it. That's the hedonic treadmill at play. This explains why instant gratification, junk food, drugs, social media, pornography, and shopping can never truly satisfy us, because we receive the pleasure instantly with little to no effort required. We are wired to feel pleasure as a result of effort, and so when we remove the effort, the consequences can be dangerous, and we have created a world devoid of effort. As a result, we place high expectations on these instantly gratifying stimuli, only to be left disappointed. But that's not the fault of junk food or social media. It's our interpretation of these stimuli. We need to stop expecting simple fixes for complex problems. And more importantly, we need to become aware of why and when we feel the need to instantly gratify ourselves. Because chances are we do so to distract from uncomfortable, complex, or painful feelings. Feelings, by the way, that we're supposed to feel. These feelings inform us, even if they're painful. But we continually fail to learn from them when we continually distract ourselves from them. We have become what Nietzsche called the last men. Nietzsche wrote, quote, "Alas, the time is coming when man will no longer give birth to a star. Alas, the time of the most despicable man is coming, the man who can no longer despise himself. Behold, I show you the last man." The last man was Nietzsche's warning about a society that values comfort, security, and ease over struggle, challenge, uncertainty, and meaning. The last man continually satisfies himself with entertainment, pleasure, and safety. He seeks a painless, predictable life, distracting himself from everything that might cause discomfort or uncertainty. Nietzsche made this warning in the 19th century, and so we can imagine what he'd think of our world today. His warning has played out on an unbelievably fabricated scale, with constant and instant pleasure at every moment. The world we've built makes it easier than ever to become the last man. Nietzsche understood what modern psychology and neuroscience later confirmed. Without stress and struggle, we become weaker. And more than 100 years later, Nassim Taleb expanded on this idea with the concept of anti-fragility. The idea that certain systems, including human beings, don't just endure stress, but require it to become stronger. Fragile things break under stress, like a glass dropped on the floor. Resilient things withstand stress, but don't improve, like a rock. And anti-fragile things benefit from stress, like muscles, the immune system, and human resilience in general. Think about it. Muscles grow stronger under stress. The immune system strengthens through exposure to germs, and our minds adapt and strengthen when challenged. Nietzsche put it simply: that which does not kill us makes us stronger. But only if we voluntarily expose ourselves to that stress. If we live like the last man, avoiding stress, uncertainty, and discomfort, we become fragile. We develop an aversion to anything that makes us uncomfortable. And when life inevitably throws challenges our way, we're completely unprepared, and even more so, we respond in ways that make the situation worse. And who can blame us? We're now born into a world that operates to make you the last man. Social media, TV streaming, next day deliveries, fast food delivery, and pornography make it almost impossible to resist, especially if we're not aware of it. This is why so many people today feel overwhelmed, anxious, and unable to cope. We find every painful emotion unbearable to such an extent that we distract ourselves, and when we inevitably cannot distract ourselves any longer, or when the world becomes painful, which it will, we're not prepared. That's why so many people are so easily offended now. They've spent much of their life avoiding stress and uncertainty that when the slightest bit of stress or uncertainty reveals itself, it's unbearable. If you never train yourself to handle difficulty, everything becomes unbearable and difficult. The solution is simple but difficult, of course. Lean into the discomfort. Train yourself to handle stress voluntarily so that when it comes, you're ready. And this is where uncertainty comes back into play. We've spent decades treating every problem as a problem of deficiency and every solution as a problem of abundance. We never consider the trade-offs. Thomas Sowell put it best when he said there are no solutions, only trade-offs. Every modern convenience comes with a hidden cost. The trade-off of fast food and processed foods is obesity. The trade-off of constant entertainment is burnout and desensitization. The trade-off of warm, bright buildings is bad posture, fatigue, vitamin D deficiency, reduced cardiovascular health, and disrupted sleep. The trade-off of pornography is less real-world intimacy and rising loneliness. The modern world encourages quick fixes, but the truth is there are no quick fixes. So instead of asking, what is this decision doing for me, ask, what am I trading off by making this choice? And so I'm going to end with some practical steps you can take to better align yourself with your human nature, and some steps that can help you embrace the uncertainty of life. First, try introducing what Cal Newport refers to as digital minimalism, using technology intentionally rather than passively. In his book, Digital Minimalism, Choosing a Focused Life in a Noisy World, he argues that most of us engage with technology without contemplating why we use it. But if we become more aware and intentional, we can focus our attention on what's truly valuable to us. The trade-off of constantly picking up our phones when they buzz or mindlessly scrolling is the loss of meaningful time. Time that could be spent within ourselves, within our own thoughts, or with others. It also fragments our attention, making deep focus and presence harder to achieve. It makes boredom practically impossible, as well as all of the possible ideas that could come from boredom. So ask yourself, what am I actually gaining from my current technology habits? And what trade-offs am I making by using it in this way? Once you reflect on these questions, you can make changes accordingly so you're not unknowingly sacrificing what's most meaningful or valuable to you. Simple steps like deactivating notifications, leaving your phone in another room when you need to focus, or going for a walk without technology can have a significant impact on your mental health, relationships, and sense of purpose. You could even take it a step further and try a dopamine detox. Now, I know the evidence for dopamine detoxing isn't the most solid, but if we commit to avoiding instantly gratifying and highly stimulating activities such as video games, TV, social media, or pornography, even just for a day, and instead spent time outside in nature, free from distractions, and engaging in deeper conversations with those we love, I'm sure it would have a positive impact on our well-being, because that's what we're built to experience. So, life is complicated, but facing that complexity is infinitely better than distracting yourself from it, leading to ignorance. Life is painful, but facing that pain is infinitely better than distracting yourself from it, meaning you're not prepared for when life becomes painful. Our lives as humans aren't supposed to be distracted from. We're built to experience, not distract. So put down the phone, look up, and experience it. Hey guys, just a little bit of housekeeping before you take off. Firstly, thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means a lot to see people watching and liking the content. Second, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe to the channel. That's the best zero-cost way you can help support the podcast. As you can probably tell, I don't have a team behind me helping with recording or editing the podcast, and I certainly don't have a lot of fancy equipment, so any help or support is greatly appreciated because it will help the podcast grow and get better. And finally, keep on struggling.